What happens when AI takes over most of the jobs? It's not a question for the next century, it's a challenge for the next decade. And one of the biggest ideas gaining traction as a result is Universal Basic Income, or UBI, a monthly cash payment to everyone no matter who they work for or how much they make. But if the government institutes a UBI, how are they going to pay for it? Who exactly is going to be footing the bill? Today we're breaking down how AI could make UBI unavoidable, how high your taxes might have to go to pay for it, and why you should be rethinking everything about your retirement plan starting right now. Okay, let's dive in. As artificial intelligence becomes more powerful, it's not just automating routine jobs, it's starting to replace highly skilled work too. We're talking AI-generated coding, AI-facilitated healthcare, and even AI-generated legal advice. If that trend continues, we could see tens of millions of job sectors completely disappearing or dramatically contracting. So all this begs the question, how will everyday Americans pay for their standard of living if they're potentially no longer in the workforce? Well, that brings us to a highly verboten term that hasn't really been discussed in our country since Andrew Yang ran for president, and that's Universal Basic Income. That's a government-provided income for every adult regardless of employment status. Let's say the U.S. government institutes a UBI of $12,000 per adult per year, which is the amount that most government studies have been modeling. The cost of that would run up to $3.1 trillion per year, or about 11% of GDP. That's the size of the entire Social Security and Medicare budgets combined. So where's that money going to come from? Well, this is where things get a little uncomfortable. To finance UBI through taxes on individuals, the government would have to raise taxes by a full 7 points. That means if your current marginal tax rate were 22%, it would have to rise to 29%. For high-income earners, they could see tax rates of 50% or more when you factor in state and local taxes. And that's just to pay for UBI. That doesn't even cover the huge fiscal shortfalls in programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, or our exploding national debt. We're marching into a future where we could see a permanent shift to much higher taxes just to keep our country solvent and provide Americans with the basics that they need. Now, even without UBI, many economists believe tax rates must rise significantly in the coming years due to the cost of servicing the exploding national debt. Add UBI and AI-driven job loss to the mix, and the case becomes undeniable. So what does all this mean for your retirement plan? It means that today's relatively low tax rates are likely to be short-lived. If you're contributing to a traditional 401k or IRA, you're getting a deduction at historically low tax rates, only to postpone those taxes to a point in the future when tax rates are likely to be much higher than they are today. So what can you do today to shield yourself from higher taxes that will invariably result from our exploding national debt and the cost of universal basic income? The best thing you can do is to start saving money in tax-free accounts. Take advantage of every nook and cranny in the IRS tax code so you can shield as much of your retirement savings as you can from the impact of higher taxes. I'm talking primarily Roth IRAs and Roth 401ks. And if you're like most Americans and you have the lion's share of your retirement savings squirreled away in your IRA or 401k, then you should seriously consider a Roth conversion. You will pay taxes, but you'll do so at historically low tax rates. And then when tax rates rise, you'll have done all the heavy lifting and can then take that money out 100% tax-free. And when UBI, interest on the national debt, and AI-triggered reforms push tax rates higher, you'll be glad you paid those taxes when you did. I'm convinced that come 2035, we'll look back at tax rates in 2025 as a good deal of historic proportions. Here's an example to help illustrate the importance of acting now. Let's say you're 55 and have $1 million in a traditional IRA. Let's also say that you're in the 22% marginal federal tax bracket. You're thinking, why do a Roth conversion now? When I retire, I'll be at a much lower tax rate. Then 10 years pass, and now you're 65, and that $1 million is worth $2 million. In the meantime, taxes have gone 20 points higher to help defray the cost of universal basic income and servicing the national debt that is now standing at $62 trillion. Now all of a sudden, that 22% tax bracket felt like a pretty good deal. By converting today, you lock in that 22% rate, and all future growth and distributions are 100% tax-free. Furthermore, by withdrawing money from Roth IRAs instead of IRAs or 401ks in retirement, you increase the likelihood of receiving your Social Security 100% tax-free. In summary, AI is rapidly reshaping the labor market. UBI could soon become a permanent fixture in our country's economic landscape. The federal government is already in a fiscal hole, and interest costs are rising fast. All this means that tax rates even 10 years from now are likely to be dramatically higher than they are today. Protect yourself now by creating multiple streams of tax-free income, none of which show up on the IRS's radar, but all of which contribute to you being in the 0% tax bracket. A truly diversified strategy may include the following: Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, Roth conversions, withdrawing money from your IRAs or 401ks up to your standard deduction, some forms of properly structured cash value life insurance, and if you can keep your provisional income low enough, then your Social Security can be 100% tax-free. You can't control what Congress does, but you can control the types of accounts within which you invest your retirement savings. And by choosing tax-free, you protect yourself from a potential perfect storm of higher taxes in the not-so-distant future. If you'd like to learn how to shield your hard-earned retirement savings from the impact of higher taxes, head over to davemcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to a financial advisor in my Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll do my very best to respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is Dave McKnight. Thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.